Hey people, I'm gonna come at you. It's Sunday, but I feel like still yapping, so I'm here. It's 9:20 in the morning. I've had my first sip. Here's my second. We're having another good day. I don't know if it's tinnitus or not. For a while, I thought, I don't know. I have never tested positive for COVID, and I've gotten most of the shots, but I've wondered, is this a strange possible effect of COVID? I don't know. I like the fact that it does give me some relief. Today is another day. It could be by the end of the day that it will break and all of a sudden it'll just start again. But right now it's okay. I had a conversation with the person and I deleted it. And the main thing I want to say is that I've been through something in the past where people made accusations or made statements that caused me a lot of problems, and so I'm sensitive to that. And it just in kind of really irked me to think that someone's going to interpret me as wanting to say something harmful to someone. After all this time, after all I say, that really irked me. It's like, what do I have to do to be more clear about my stance in life? I'm a humanist. I care about everyone, including that fucking clown Donald Trump and all of his racist cult followers. I say it like that because of the stress of this situation that causes the entire world, including me, and I'm speaking out about it. Pisses me off. So I'll get shitty if you come over here misunderstanding me. I'm a man of peace. But I'll put my foot in your ass if you fuck with me. I'll do it peacefully if I can. Okay, so some good news, an update. The record's still here, isn't it? I didn't put anything away yesterday. I talked about, there it is. I talked about modern English. Showed you this 12-inch single for Life in the Glad House. This is really good. The B-side to this is like a really long jam track. Modern English doing a jam it's a side long, maybe about 10 minutes. And it's cool because it's an organic thing. I like that old 4AD label. It just builds and builds and it's cool. But here, this is real cool. Peace to the person that I had words with. We're not enemies. I just had to set that straight, okay? So don't peace, all right? But I decided yesterday I do things like that. It can be impulsive. I think about things. It's not like I'm flying off the handle like a sociopath, psychopath. Yeah, I'll get to that because I want to share that. But it occurred to me that Mick is indeed a current friend in social media, and I just decided it felt right. Hey, I'll get a hold of Mick, see if he wants to come on the channel. He got back to me, said, yeah. So Mick's going to be on Mick Conroy, bassist with Modern English and Piroshka. I'll find out if the Piroshka thing is still going. That was him with members of Lush and some other folks. See if that's still going. But next Saturday, he said he'd love to come on the channel. They have a new album coming out, and I like the new singles. I've heard 2 new songs. I like them. It's like, so that'll be part of my conversation with him, is asking him about his journey a post-punk band that is still going. What, 40 years later? That's not the norm. It's pretty damn cool. So Mick Conroy of Modern English is going to join me on the channel next week. I did not play yesterday, and I am not sorry I canceled. It was below zero. Well, it got above zero finally yesterday, and it was sunny. But as I explained, if I could have just jumped in the car with my equipment and gone, I'd have done it. But I had a lot of digging out to do, and it's like, no, I'm not. And it's cold, so I'm glad I didn't. And I let the Fletchers know if, they do another fundraiser or something, I'll volunteer when the weather's better. So right quick, before I show some records, I did watch some updates worldwide about the news. I'm watching Iceland, Grindavik, as they say it, living on top of a volcano that's very active now. Just watching everything in the world, very much wanting to, it's taking forever, but I want to see some accountability regarding Donald Trump. I do. And so I watched a discussion about him, and George Conway, I forget his title, but he nailed it. See, everybody's giving Donald Trump too much credit. They think that he's really wily and this is all a strategy. And Conway busted him. See, I'm a retired mental health specialist. I have a lot of experience and I have awards. I do have knowledge. And I fully agree with him that Trump is a moron. He's a psychopath, sociopath, and they are impulsive, and this is not a strategy. People think that there's some big strategy that Trump is working here. No, he's a psychopath. If you watch closely, it's all this bullshit. And because of his status, everyone else is running around in circles like something bigger is happening. They need to just put his ass in jail. So it's horrible what we're dealing with. So I played some records. I did. Here we go. I was in the S's. Seefeel, band that comes out of. They were never shoegaze, but they came to my attention because of shoegaze and the label they were on. Too Pure. This stuff is kind of dubby. This is Stare Through Air Eyes Spangle Lux 1. They'll have wordless vocals, and it's just real gauzy and ethereal. And then they'll have things where they have some really good pulses and beats and bass lines. And some of it's really abstract. This one is good. Enjoyed that. Section 25 is a band from England that I found out about through Factory Records. And this, I don't know their whole story, but what's interesting, Love and Hate is an album they made, and I think someone in the band died, and the band kept going. The guy's daughter, possibly this kid, kept the band going. But this is Love and Hate by Section 25. Came out in the 80s. They're a strange band in that it's ramshackle. It comes out of punk, where it's like you hear. I think it's like they really don't play that tight, but there's something here. There's an essence to the music. This album has several songs in it that are just really they're just good. I don't know who to compare them to, but I played that by them. This single, Crazy Wisdom, great song. Had to play this 3 times. It's just so good. I'm not sure how to describe it. Dirty Disco, this is the second version of it. My band Digital Sex, this was one of the songs we covered. We covered this Dirty Disco by Section 25. Also, Digital Sex covered Modern English. We covered their song Someone's Calling. I also played this by Section 25. It's Good News Week. This one always brings back the memory that this was playing on my car stereo when I had a car accident many, many years ago. I had a Honda CRX, and this person was obviously very high. Didn't even look and just turned right into my car. It was crazy. Another where it's like they were moving into an electronic thing here, but it's still kind of raggedy. And yet there's something about the raggedness that really sounds good. I didn't play this, but this is sitting out too. This is a fantastic album, From the Hip by Section 25. If you've not heard this, you just need to hear it. A couple other things that I played. Really enjoyed the music yesterday. I love playing music. Tinkered in the studio for a little bit. Actually brought one of my guitars in. So, I get rusty. You get rusty on instruments, and so I got to get my guitar chops back up. So I was doing that yesterday, playing some guitar. John McLaughlin, love this man. He just turned 80-something. He's so vital, and what a spirit. With Shakti, Handful of Beauty. This is joyous, is the word that I used to describe this online when I shared it. I've seen John McLaughlin twice. I've had a conversation with him online. And Zakir Hussain here of Shakti I've met and had dinner with Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma. That was wonderful. Just sat right next to Zakir and had dinner and just babbled about shit. And he loved it, He loved the conversation. That's a fantastic album. John McLaughlin, one of my favorite guitarists. Another favorite musician, Bo Hansson, music inspired by Watership Down. This is a music that takes me to a world. Literally, it's like going to Sherwood Forest or some kind of shit. Bo Hansson's music is a world of its own that I love to go to. I love it. This was cool. Anthony Moore, who was in Slap Happy. There's some controversy about the man that I don't quite understand, and I'm going to leave it alone. But this is like one of his early sort of semi-classical minimalist recordings that he made. And these are hard to find and expensive. So this is a reissue. Secrets of the Blue Bag. This is wonderful. It's really minimal. And when I first got this, I had an impatient reaction. It's minimal, repetitive. At first, it seems like nothing's happening. It just very slowly changes, and voices and instruments come in and out. And when you just let it go, it's like, oh, wow. Secrets of the Blue Bag, put out by Wawa. Wawa is if I got it right, they're a Spanish reissue label. I have a few Wawas. All the Wawas I have are really high quality, really well done. So I really enjoyed this. I was ready to just put it on and say, I got right into it. Anthony Moore. And this, Steve Lacy, not the pop hip hop artist, jazz saxophonist, Steve Lacy, Moon, his album that's on the big label. This is vital. This is cool. This is a free jazz session where the motifs that set it up are like, what is that? It's like very unique, very original. This is killer. I have several Steve Lacy albums. This is my favorite of the ones that I own. And his phrasing and playing on the horn, it's not typical. He doesn't sound like anyone. Like, he doesn't ring to mind, like, for example, Charlie Parker or even Ornette Coleman. Steve Lacy is Steve Lacy. This was real good. Yeah, I had a real good time playing records yesterday and catching a buzz. I sure did. This, I forget how I came across this. It's a split between Felix Kubin and Splitter Orchestra called Shine On You Crazy Diagram. This is killer. I love shit like this. You know, it's like there's a form to what's going on, and yet there is no form. The Felix Kubin side is intense. It's like one of those pieces where it's a rising thing, and it's rising, looking for a climax, kind of like sex. But what's interesting about the Kubin side is that it's pretty real. It's like it doesn't come to a perfect climax. It kind of sputters. It's very interesting. And the other side, the Splitter Orchestra, is nothing like the Kubin side, but sonically very dense and interesting. And it's like, this isn't electronic, but this is very abstract and very engaging. And I cannot immediately tell what is being used to make the sounds, except I can tell that it's organic. And if I look here, it might say, and it does. There are some synthesizers. I see a lot of percussion, and it's a mixture. Synthesizers, percussion, violin, cello, electronics, trombone. Really good. Not sure how I came across this. It might have been sent to me by someone. I really appreciate the musical gifts. I sure do. Got a couple more here, folks. This one I know was sent to me, I think, by the artist. And I checked it out online. It's on Discogs. This is a rarity, but it's cheap. It's like Squim. Okay, so that's an ugly cover to me. But all these there's only 350 of these. Each one comes with a cover printed by Squim. They're all different. But this is good. This is good. Nurse with Wound comes to mind. Even Faust. Okay? This is good. Zephyrus. Zephyrus is the name of it. You can get a copy of this for like $5 or $6 from the artist because nobody bought it. I think the cover is a turn up because it's ugly. But the work on this is good. I played this all the way through. I actually got to a point while I was listening to it where I had to ask myself, what am I listening to? Because this is engaging. I love sound. It is not just the sound of somebody making noise. There's a methodology going on here. Squim. I recommend this. You can get it for $6. Couple more. Leland Sklar, the bass player who's played on thousands of sessions. I love the man. I met him. We vibed right away. When I told him I was a bass player, I love it. He said, I could kind of tell. It's like I knew the guy. I saw him with Judith Owen, when Judith Owen for Brian Ferry a few years ago in Kansas City. I love these exchanges with other crazy musicians. I'm one of them, I am. Anyway, the Section, I have all of the Section albums. This is what this group of musicians were called. They were kind of like the guys who replaced the Wrecking Crew almost in some ways on sessions. It's an interesting story. Leland Sklar is a great storyteller too. He's online a lot. This album is very good. Their first album. It's a mixture of, they show their chops. I've always liked the old Warner Brothers Green versions. But they start off with a little country, then they do a little bit of New Orleans sound. Then, of course, they do some gut bucket funk, but then they do fusion. And they do it, these guys are, Leland Sklar is a world-class bass player. He can play anything. He was the bass player on Billy Cobham's Spectrum. He's on everything. Really glad that I got to be blessed in his presence. That's another thing that is personal to me. When I meet artists who have done work that has touched my life. It's like being blessed by being able to meet them. That's just personal, I'm sharing. Shannon had the big hit Runaway. Dipped his toe into psychedelia on this album. This is very good. The Further Adventures of Charles Westover. What's good about this is it's not doing a psychedelic thing sound-wise. These are songs where he's talking about love, but also from the mental point of view. It's like the words, they catch you. But the songwriting and the arrangements are like top-notch. Almost every song on this album, I found myself humming along. And I've only heard this album a few times, but that's how strong this album is. This is very good. Shannon. When I was a kid, that stylophone type of organ solo on Runaway used to spook me, scared me for the longest time. And the last thing to show is a Tone Float album that when I got it, I thought it was a bad press, but it's not. That's part of the sound. It sounds like there's fuzz on the needle on parts of this, but that's part of the sound. Dirk Serrie, Microphonics. This is droning ambient washes that just, they get to a point and they just like waves. And it's wonderful. It could go on forever. So that's what I have to share. I'll say again, I mean no ill harm to anyone. And the person that I had words with, as far as I'm concerned, we're still friendly, okay? But I've been through some bullshit from people coming over here, hearing something, making assumptions, saying something public, and it starts, I went through some shit. I mean, so many people know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to bring it up because those assholes are still here. And if they say something to me, I will not be kind because they caused me problems. And it was all wrong based on assumptions they made that were incorrect. So I'm a little touchy about that. But I'm not going to be quiet about my opinion and what I have to say, because that's part of the problem, is that we have people who are too afraid to stand up to corrupt power. We don't have any good choices. God forbid. Where is a decent younger Democrat to challenge Biden? I fucking hate Biden. But there is no comparison. Trump is the scum of the earth. He's a sick man. That's what I'm saying. He needs treatment. He needs a doctor. He needs meds. He needs to be taken out of this position where he's trying to grab power and become a dictator. This is not good, and I won't be quiet. Next Saturday, Mick Conroy will be on the channel. Take care, people.